joining us today, Live Music Nation Podcast Festival Edition. Today we were Stephen Kurtenbach, Fruita Fat Tire Festival. Holy, that's like 4 tongue twisters in one. Stephen, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you bet.
Stephen, you're a black box right now, but we will go ahead and work around this. I'm sure you're a good-looking dude. Give us a little background on you, Stephen. Where'd you grow up? Talk about your private career, and then talk about your position with the festival.
You bet. So I am a Colorado native. Grew up on the Front Range of Colorado outside of Fort Collins, and have been over in the Grand Junction area, which is on the western slope of Colorado, just short of the Utah line. I've been over here almost 25 years now. My background is primarily in sales, mainly started in medical sales, and now I am in logistics. And I've also been involved. I'm very active and get out and do lots of recreation, which is what we do here in Western Colorado. And mountain biking is one of my passions. And so Fruita is known as one of the old school mountain biking meccas. We're kind of sister town to Moab, which is just an hour and 15 minutes away. And so we have really good mountain biking. It's an activity that I really gravitated to soon as I was exposed to it. And a good buddy of mine owned a bike shop over here, and they had a festival going, and I started helping with it for 15, 16 years ago. And now I'm one of the owners of it.
Perfect. What is it about? Well, I tell you what. So I'm assuming this kind of involves the whole town. So I usually ask people to describe what this festival looks like, sounds like, smells like, because you know there's food around. So it may be a little bit larger than that, but let's start with that. So what does the festival actually look like?
So the festival is probably somewhat smaller than what you're normally talking about. When I looked at some of your other events that you interviewed folks with, which are bigger music festivals or town fairs, and Fruita certainly does have what they call the Fruita Fall Fest, which is probably a little bit more in line with that. The Mountain Biking Fest, what we are is a demo event. And so we have folks come in, they pay to get a wristband, and then that allows them to go demo mountain bikes out on one of our local trail systems here. And the reason they want to do that is if they want to, they're looking at buying a new mountain bike, and these things are no longer not expensive. You can drop anywhere between $4,000 to $10,000 on a good mountain bike. So, and different bikes are all pretty good, but you tend to, just like maybe, people will find a good car that they like. A mountain bike's the same way. You sort of get on them, ride them, and you find one that fits your style. And so that's what our event allows them to do. So we've had to go with a split event. When we first started this all the way through 2018, we hosted the whole event in downtown Fruita. One of the downsides we had was folks had to rent their or get their demo bike in downtown Fruita, and then the trail system was like 7 miles outside of town, or actually it's 9 miles outside of town. So they'd have to load it up, take it out, ride the bike, maybe they get back. And the vendors, the companies that were there, promoting their bikes, were only getting 1 or maybe 2 turns on a bike a day. We have split the festival, and now we have the actual demo part of the event right out at the trailhead. So that's really attractive to vendors. So they can get, 3 to 4 turns a day on a bike. And that's what makes a festival worth it for them to come do, because ultimately they're marketing and trying to sell their product. So, yeah, so we do have a music part of the festival that is still in downtown Fruita. And this year we've collaborated with another event called Code to It, and that is a gravel event. And gravel riding is somewhat different if you've never seen it, but it's basically a cross between mountain biking and traditional road biking, whereas you have what looks more like a road bike, but folks like to ride it on gravel roads. And we have plenty of those around here. We're largely on the western slope, but we're an agricultural community and have lots of back roads and stuff. And so by collaborating with that event, that gives us 1,500 more people in town in Fruita, which is a small town, about 15,000 people just outside of Grand Junction. So it's really also attractive for our vendors to come in to get that big bolus of people who are in town, who are passionate about riding bicycles, and just adding to that event. And we really want to grow it over this next 3 years again.
What are some of your plans for growth, Stephen?
Continuing to add value. I think that's one of the big things out there now is there's mountain biking has really caught on. Gravel riding is one of the fastest segments of cycling in general. It's growing, and Morgan, who runs that event, has done a great job at promoting it. So it's the value added piece and also promoting Western Colorado, along with many communities. We saw a big bump in our population during COVID. A lot of people came out here to recreate and decided they really liked it. And so we've seen a lot of people move in. And so, building the festival to where folks can come in, know exactly what they're going to get, trying to keep the overhead low. The vendors like it. We charge them a fee to be out here as well, but we try and keep both of those costs as low as we can because we don't want to drive people out of the market. And we also have to be sustainable. We don't want to get so big. There's some events out there that are purely demo events, and they're so big that people pay a lot of money for a ticket, like upwards of $250. And then they get there and they're there with 5,000 of their best friends, and they end up not being able to get the bikes. So we have to manage the number of tickets that we sell along with the number of demo vendors are there, so everybody can mostly get what they want at an event. It's not always going to be perfect, but we strive to be really, really close.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What's some of the feedback that you get from last year's event, the years before, and what do you do with that feedback?
Feedback as far as from our participants, from vendors.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Yeah. So we're talking participants. Yeah.
So participants really like it. They like Western Colorado. A lot of them have not been out here before. So they, especially if they're coming from out of state, and we get a lot of folks that come from the Midwest and a lot of folks that come down from Canada, surprisingly, because the festival is in early to mid-May and Canada's still thawing out up there. So a lot of folks find an excuse to bail out and come down here and ride in the sunshine. And it's very sunny around here in May. So the feedback we get is just enjoying the area we have. We actually have what we would consider epic mountain bike trails around here, what people are looking for. The clays are, and the soils are very good for mountain biking. It packs in very well, so people can carry good speed and get good momentum, which is, kind of the thrill part of mountain biking.
Sure.
And so it's that exposure to people. That's the feedback we get is we had no idea Western Colorado had all of this to offer. And so we're just sort of like a vessel, to expose people to a lot bigger area, not just mountain biking, but the actual area. They do also appreciate the fact that we strive to be a little smaller venue, and that they feel like they can go up and get the bike that they want, or if it isn't there, they can get it within a few hours. They'll get in, queued up in line, and they're not worried if they want to ride a certain vendor's bike like Specialized or Esker or Pivot. They know that bike is probably going to be here that they're looking at, and that even if it isn't there right then in their size, it's out on the trail, it will be back shortly and they can circle back. And that's valuable because a lot of other festivals don't offer that.
Man, that's spectacular. How do you market this event, Stephen?
That is a great question. So we kind of went through a bit of when we split the event and took it out to 18 Road, we were trying to decide if, that was around its 22nd year. And there's always a life cycle to these things. And we were deciding whether we wanted to sunset the event or whether we wanted to, we wanted to breathe new life into it, but that was going to take a big effort. And we decided it was still too popular to let die. So we wanted to really put the effort in. So we've done a lot. We've revamped our website. We've reached out to local publications more to get on the radar screens and just promote the event more, because we were sort of relying in the last couple of years of just recognition that the event had always been there. It's one of those old school events, but there's a lot of distractions in the world today. And we were probably not as proactive as we should have been back in the late teens, right up till about the time of COVID. So we have a 3-year plan for really getting this thing back up and recognized as one of the premier mountain biking events in the Western United States, if not the United States in general, because Western Colorado and the west of the United States is really kind of the home of mountain biking.
Yeah, no, it is. We've learned that in traveling through. Okay. I always ask these 2 questions, whether you have live event, and you do have live music at your event, but what some people don't. But because I am in live entertainment, I am in live music, I always ask these 2 questions. It gives our listeners a little insight as to who you are. What is the best concert you've ever seen in your entire life?
I have, as I've gotten older, I've been a kind of a small venue person, but I have to look back and say it was somewhere in, I think it was around 91, in the old Mile High Stadium in Denver. I got to see U2's Zooropa tour. And at the time, tours it's amazing what they can do when I see stuff on YouTube and stuff. But at that time, that Zooropa concert was amazing. Just the light show and the interaction with the audience and everything that they went through. It was, gosh, and I think we paid like $25 a ticket back
Oh,
then. That
wow.
was 91. And so I've always thought I got my money's worth on that particular one. Not, U2 is like the group, don't love them, not one of my favorites, but that concert was amazing.
For sure. Okay, dead or alive, you could bring any one musical act to the Fat Tire Festival. And,
Oh,
and let's say the goal is to bring as many people as you possibly can. Who you bringing?
so we have a country music festival that they do out here every year, and I don't know why, but I'm totally spacing on the name of it.
Right.
Anyways, so country music is very popular in our area. So I've always really enjoyed Luke Bryant's stuff, and I think he would be pretty key to see. So I would enjoy seeing someone like that who really is good at interacting with the crowd and very personable type of personality. I probably gravitate away from big production shows anymore, and someone who's more just able to take on a big stadium, but also do a small venue like a small town like Fruita and do both equally well. So yeah, I would say someone like a Luke Bryant or someone that would be a pretty neat person to have here.
Perfect. Steven, appreciate your time today, number one.
Thank you, sir.
And more importantly, you have a very distinct niche in this. So how do people find out more about the Fat Tire Festival? I would come and just bring my guitar and hang out and watch because I do not enjoy mountain biking at all. I prefer a horse. However, this festival is phenomenal. The fact that people get to come out, demo bikes, that's huge. That's like going to LA and test driving a Lambo before you buy it, So how do people find out more about your event?
You bet. The quickest, easiest, fastest way is to go to the website, which is FruitaFatTireFestival.com.
Okay.
And Fruita is Fruita. You might enjoy our area actually because Fruita is a unique town in that it's a perfect blend, kind of like Steamboat. There is a mountain biking culture, but there's also a very heavy farm and ranch culture.
Well, I already like your area anyway because I like seeing the mountains. I don't want to be in the mountains. And so yeah, Western and Eastern Colorado are perfect for me. So yeah, ranchland is where I want to be. Absolutely. Steven, thanks for being on this day. I appreciate it.
Jake, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
You bet.